All right, guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast, and we're here tonight to do Week 10 Game Day Pick'ems. Playing videos or not?
Just wrapped it up.
Just wrapped up. It didn't play for me, so I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if I was just standing here, sitting here on, on camera. What's going on?
Think you muted yourself there.
Yeah, he's muted again. Let's see if he comes back.
I don't know if he knows if did he hear us tell him he was muted?
I don't know. He's muted.
Wonder if he lost us too.
I don't know. Unmute your mic. Says he can't. I don't know. There he goes. Then he unmuted it again.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I told y'all it didn't play on my end. Well, both videos played on my end after I started talking, and it mutes me whenever they play. So anyway,
that's hilarious.
Have no idea. So both videos mutes on the video plays. So that's what happened. All right. Anyways, I've got Taylor and John back with me tonight, and we're here to do Week 10 of our Game Day Pick'ems. So our Pick'ems as of right now through Week 9. Last week I was 6-6. John was 7-5. Taylor was not on with us last week, so he doesn't have any stats from last week. But that is. Last week, I am 60-46 on the season. John is 49-50. And Taylor, you are 35-36 with the weeks that you've been on here.
All right. Maybe I can get above 500 this week.
Now he's muted again. I can't hear a word he's saying.
Wonder if the video started playing again. That'd actually be pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Let me back out, and I'll see if you guys can. I'll send and let me know if it's any better if I back out.
All right, let's see if it works. And here we go. Hopefully he'll be back in just a minute. We have been doing really good with this whole audio thing until tonight. I don't know what the deal is, to be honest with you. What's up, Ken? What's up, Greg? Here we go again.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
It keeps playing the video over. It's like on repeat. It keeps playing. I've only hit it once.
We're probably going to have to get rid of the videos eventually. It's just.
I don't know. It's like it's on repeat, and it kept playing the videos over and over.
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know.
Okay, goodness gracious.
That's
First game we're going to talk about this week is Texas. It's Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 3-point favorite at home in this one. I was trying to have Taylor on with us tonight. We'd been trying to do 3 a few weeks, haven't been able to do that because of having issues. So you can see when I tried it tonight, we still had some issues.
Yep.
I have no idea what's going on with it. What do you say on this one, John?
You know, Texas A&M is kind of going through some things right now. You know, they haven't really been playing that well. They ended up winning last week against South Carolina, but Ole Miss is not South Carolina. And I'll be honest with you, I'm concerned a lot with Moss, the Moss injury. Texas A&M's running back. I think that's going to make it a challenge. I think for A&M to keep pace with Ole Miss Saturday. And they already struggle trying to run the football anyways. A&M does. So I think, and you know, that's going to put a lot of pressure, I think, on Max Johnson to make plays. And I just don't think they'll be able to do that in Oxford. I believe Ole Miss wins this game. I believe they cover the spread, the 3 points. You know, I don't trust A&M right now. They're you know, up until South Carolina game, they hadn't been really playing that well. And, you know, they made some plays last week. Granted, South Carolina's defense is not the best, but at the same time,
I don't really think South Carolina is a good measuring stick.
No, they're not. And we'll find out this weekend what they're made of, especially without the running back. I just think it's going to put too much pressure on Max Johnson to make plays, and I just don't think they can do it.
All right, that's fair. You know, I'm going to be very similar. I mean, A&M, yes, they won last week against South Carolina. South Carolina is a good measuring stick. A&M's, they have had an up and down season a little bit. Ole Miss is 7-1. Their only loss is Alabama. Throughout the season so far, this game is in Oxford, and I at just 3 points, I feel like I've got to take Ole Miss in this. with the offense that they have, passing and rushing with Judkins is and I'm going to take the 3 points as well. All right, next one we're going to talk about tonight is Kansas State at Texas. And this one is just a 4-point favorite for Texas at home at Kansas State. That seems kind of low to me. What do you think, John?
I wouldn't say it's real low because, this to me, this will be a more stiffer test that Texas is going to face, especially against Kansas State. I think it's an even matchup, especially with Ewers out. Howard, to me, is an above-average quarterback. Their ground game's one of the best in the country. Texas's pass defense, I think, is ranked 7th in the country. I think they'll hold up this weekend. I feel confident in saying that Kansas State will cover this game, but I'm not so sure Texas is a better team without their quarterback. Twin years. The redshirt freshman last week, Murphy, played outstanding. They beat BYU, but BYU is not Kansas State. Kansas State's a little bit better competition. You move up in competition. So it's going to be a stiffer test for Texas to make plays to win this football game. And I think Kansas State covers this game.
Okay.
I think they cover.
I feel like Tech has all the talent in the world, and it's at home.
They do.
Give me Texas in this one. I just feel like I know that they are, with their backup quarterback, but he played pretty well last week. He's got a week under his belt. He's going to be at home with home crowd this week. And he has all the talent around him that Texas has. So I'm going to say give me Texas and the 4-point home is what I'm going to say in this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll mix it up here.
Yeah.
We always do.
All right. So the next game we're going to talk about is Notre Dame at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame is a 3-point favorite, according to DraftKings, which is where I get all these from. According to DraftKings today, actually, they were a 3-point favorite at Clemson. And, Clemson's usually a tough place to play. They haven't been playing up to par lately. So, John, what do you think on this game?
Well, my thing is, Clemson, they brought back 15 starters from a year ago. They're rebuilding. They're 4-4. They've lost their last 2 games. Dabo Swinney is cussing out fans on the radio. There's just a lot of things that's not sitting right with this Clemson team right now. And there's a lot of drama going on with the fans and especially with the coaches.
Poor Tyler.
Cabe Klubnik has been inconsistent at quarterback. Notre Dame has, I think, the 3rd best pass defense in the country. Notre Dame beat them last year by 21. And this is a much better Notre Dame team and a less talented Clemson team. And I think Clemson –
But last year was at South Bend, and this is in Clemson.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, Clemson has showed me no improvements from week to week. The offense is inconsistent. The biggest thing with Clemson is they don't have a bunch of playmakers that they normally have, and that's what's really stopping them from being really great. And I think Notre Dame goes in there, and I think they win this game. I think they cover the 3-point spread. I think the running back for Notre Dame will carry them, Audrey Kasima. I think he's one of the better running backs in the country. And Notre Dame has a really good defense. And Clemson's going to have a time moving the football at times against this Irish D.
I mean, the one thing I think is Clemson does have a pretty good defense still. They just don't have the offense that they have been known to have over the last, several years. So, for me, everything in me says that this is a low spread and it should be a little higher than this. So because of that reason, even though this is Death Valley and Clemson, I am going to take Notre Dame in this game and take the 3 points, the road team here on this one.
I'll go as far as saying that if Clemson loses this game, they're going to be looking straight ahead at 4-5, and at the same time, their season could really go down the drain with a loss Saturday. Let's be honest. The fans and the coaches are at it.
If they lose this one, they will be 4.
Yep. So there's a lot going on right now, especially drama-wise among the fans and the coaches, and I just think, there's too much going on for them to win. I mean, it's just unless they pull a rabbit out of the hat and this offense gets completely better than what they've been the last 2 weeks, I just don't see them beating Notre Dame.
I mean, all that's fair. I mean,
You went on mute again, my man.
okay, how about now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, I saw that. I mean, it just does it by itself, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But anyways, I appreciate some guys being on with us. Just wanted to throw that up there a little bit. So our next one we're going to talk about is Ohio State is going to Rutgers. And Ohio State is a 19-point favorite at Rutgers. I do want to say this. Rutgers is 6-2. And I don't think a lot of people know that.
They don't.
So what do you think about this as a 19-point on the road?
Well, to me, this is Rutgers' biggest home game of the season. A win pretty much puts them into a better bowl position. But here's an issue. It's not going to happen. They lost to Michigan 30-7, and I think Michigan is just as good as Ohio State is. Granted, that game was at Michigan. Michigan controlled the tempo the whole game. They kept Rutgers in check pretty much the whole game. But Rutgers does have a – they do have a – do what now?
I said, look at here.
And Rutgers does have a 50th round ranked ground attack, and they're going up against a really good front four in Ohio State. I just don't think they win this game. Now, the place is going to be rowdy. This is probably the biggest Rutgers game they've had in quite some time, probably since the early, 2000s maybe. It's going to be a little rowdy there Saturday, so I look for Rutgers to play really good early, but I just think Ohio State's defense will be the difference in this game. They just got too many guys, and they got the best player in the country, Marvin Harrison Jr. So, and it seems like Ohio State seems like they're clicking right at the right time. So,
yeah, I mean,
which I think
I agree with you.
I think they
I
cover
agree
the
with
spread.
you
19.
for the most part. I mean, this Rutgers team has played really, really well up to this point. Like I said, they are 6-2. This is probably going to be their biggest game of the year at home. I know they're going to try everything they can to pull this one out. I just think this Ohio State team's just a better team.
Well, and they got too many 4 stars and 5 stars on the field, and it's going to show. It's going to show Saturday against Rutgers.
I mean, Michigan, they held Michigan. It was 30-7, which I know doesn't sound like they were right there, but that's 23, and this spread is 19. So, I mean,
it's transitive property. I say, you look
will
at it
they
from
cover the spread? Is the only question that I'm having is will they cover the spread? That's the only question I'm having. And I'm going to take Ohio State and take the 19 points on the road. But I am second guessing myself on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Our next one we're going to talk about is Missouri goes to Georgia. Now, this game is basically for the top spot in the East. Now, you still got to win out and that kind of stuff, but the winner of this is going to be leading the SEC East. Missouri has 1 loss. Georgia has none. So if they beat them, they will have the tiebreaker and will be leading the SEC East. It is in Athens, and Georgia is a 15-point favorite. So what say you on this one?
And I'll tell you this. Both of these offenses are explosive. Cook for Missouri has one of the best wide receivers in the country. He's throwing it to Andrew Burden Jr. He's one of the top receiving wide receivers in yards. And I think he'll pose a threat to this Georgia secondary. But will that be enough to beat Georgia in Georgia? If you watch the Missouri game against LSU late, they stumbled. They should have beat LSU. Actually, Missouri should be undefeated right now. Let's just be frank. Missouri should be undefeated going to Georgia, but things happen and you didn't win, so you move on. I just think it's just going to be too much, even without Bowers. I think it's going to be close. But I think Georgia just has enough more dudes in this game, and especially in Athens, to win this game. I think this will be a third-quarter game. I think it'll be tight pretty early, but I think Georgia will wear them down as the game goes in the fourth quarter because I'm going to tell you something. Deshaun Edwards for Georgia, the running back, he is an underrated running back that many don't talk about, and he's good on the ground. And I think if Georgia gets a big lead, they're going to use him, and they're just going to punish Missouri up front. And which I don't like this. I don't like this double-digit line because I think this game could go either way. But it's in Athens, and let's just be frank. Georgia has not lost a home game since 2019.
Well, they've not. They've won like 20 great games at the 26. Yeah.
2019, ladies and gentlemen. And I just don't think it'll happen this weekend either. So.
Yeah, I know. But this Missouri team is really tough. They are a tough
really
team.
Good.
Got a tough defense.
They're good. I'm with you, but
they have a really, really good offense. And They hung with Georgia last year, with last year's championship team. Now, it was in Columbus last year, not in Athens.
It's different when you're on the road. I tell people, SEC road games are the hardest games to play in conference.
They played Georgia the closest in the regular season last year by losing 27-22. This is a 15-point spread. It is in Athens. I think if you're going Georgia, I think I'm going to go the opposite. I think I'm going to take Missouri in the 15 points.
I am too.
Is that what you said?
I think I'm going to do the same as you because I think this Missouri team is capable of putting points on the board, especially against a suspect Georgia defense that's not the Georgia defense from the last 2 years. I think Connor Cook is going to make some plays down the field. Not Connor Cook, Brady Cook. Brady Cook's going to make some plays down the field with Luther Burden. And I think the X factor in this is Theo Weiss. He had a big breakout game against Kentucky a couple weeks ago.
They got two wide receivers. Yeah.
They got two really good wide receivers. But at the end of the day, it's Georgia. And until somebody knocks Georgia off, Georgia's still the champ.
What's up, Tino?
And that's what's going to happen this weekend. Georgia's going to make a statement this weekend and win this game. But I think Missouri will cover the spread.
Okay, so we're both taking Georgia or Missouri to cover the spread in this one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I do think Georgia wins the game. I'm just taking Missouri to cover the spread. All right. Our next one we're going to talk about is Penn State goes to Maryland. Penn State is an 8.5-point favorite at Maryland this week.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you.
What do you think about this?
Maryland is playing really bad right now.
They haven't played good the last couple of 2 or 3 weeks.
But there's that part of me that says, Penn State's going on the road, and next week they got Michigan coming. And do they overlook Michigan? Do they overlook Michigan and lose this game and fall into a trap? That's the big question. But Penn State should have the fans there. Everywhere they go, they pack the stadium. Plus, it's not really a far drive to where Maryland College Park. So Penn State has the better team, but Maryland is one of those teams that you just don't want to sleep on, especially, them fading, because at the same time they can come up and get up for a big game. And plus Penn State's got a big matchup with Michigan next week.
Hold that thought just a second. Ken, you're right, but LSU does have one of the top offensive in the country.
They do. One of the best. So I think Maryland covers the spread. I'm just not sold. I'm just not sold on this Penn State team. Everybody was saying, Penn State's going to do this, and they go to Ohio State and they look like they do. We believe the hype every single year, and it just seems like that they never put it together for 4 quarters in a big game. And I agree with you, Ken. They had their trap game against Indiana, but at the same time, you got to think they got Michigan coming up next week, and your mind's probably thinking, you know what, we can't lose this game, because if we do, that's probably going to knock us out of the Big Ten championship and possibly going to the Big Ten championship. So there's a lot of things to play with here. So I think Penn State wins this game, but I'm going to take Maryland to cover the 8.5. The 8. I get, what is it, 8.5?
Okay, yeah, it's 8.5. I'm with Ken on this one. We were off on the Georgia Missouri, but I think Indiana was their trap game. After playing Ohio State,
but we say that, and then
coming off of
we
that,
end
I
up.
think the Indiana game was their trap game.
Well, we do that, and then we come back here on Sunday and we see a loss. That's the way it works on this show.
It's possible. You might be right, but I'm going to take Penn
it's
State and the 8.5 points in this one. I do like 18. They just need to find some more offense. And this Maryland
the
team
offense,
can put up some offense.
Yeah, Tungaloa, Tua's brother, can absolutely play football at quarterback. He's actually legit. And Penn State's going to have to make some plays defensively to beat Maryland. So
I agree, but I'm going to take James Franklin, Penn State in this one, and take the 8.5 this week.
My biggest concern is the road
next game.
The thing about me, it's a road game before Michigan, and that's where I'm going with it because sometimes that gets in your head sometimes.
Our next game we're going to talk about, this could be the last bedlam that we see for quite some time. Oklahoma goes to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma is a 6-point favorite at Oklahoma State. And again, I don't think a lot of people realize Oklahoma State is 6-2. Oklahoma's 7-1 now. And I don't think a lot of people realize that Oklahoma State had the kind of season that they have had so far.
Yeah, even with a above average quarterback, to beat it all. I'll say this about this game. You can throw records out when it comes to this game because it's always up for this game. They're going to be up.
Fans are going to be rowdy.
You can't let here's my thinking. You can't let one loss turn into two, because if you do, it's going to make a really great season look like an average season for Oklahoma after what they did early in the year by beating Texas. Oklahoma has one of the best offensive teams in the country. They're averaging 308 passing yards per game. That's 11th. And Oklahoma State's defense is not that good, to be honest. And I think, Oklahoma has the offense to win this game in a shootout. But I'll say this. I would not put it past Mike Gundy, because every time Mike Gundy gets up for a big game, he always has that one game where he shows up. And it's usually against Oklahoma. And this is a game that if I'm Oklahoma, I'll be careful with, especially it being in Stillwater. It's a game that's, notoriously for being close and playing close.
Oh, it is for sure. You think they go in and win by more than 6?
I think Oklahoma covers the spread. The 6 points.
You think Oklahoma covers the spread, the 6 points?
I do. All right. I don't think Oklahoma State has the defense this year. Now, if we was talking last year and year before, I could probably give you a little bit more reasoning for why Oklahoma State could possibly win this game. But their defense this year has not been as good as it has been in the past. And I think that's going to be a bad recipe, especially against the Oklahoma offense that can move the football. And especially with a quarterback like Dylan Gabriel.
Have a great offense.
And Dylan Gabriel is like one of the better quarterbacks in the country.
But my biggest question on Oklahoma, the last 3 weeks, they've been giving up a whole lot of points defensively.
They have.
That is my big. That they started out the season and was, the offense was looking great, spectacular even, and their defense looked way, way better than last year. All of a sudden, in the last 3 games, Oklahoma's averaging giving up about 30 points a game or so.
They are.
In the last 3 games. And, I don't know. I don't know if I trust their defense right now. And that's my biggest thing is they're giving up way too many points. They did to UCF.
My thinking,
they did to Kansas.
I trust Mike Gundy, but I also trust what this Oklahoma offense can do. They can move the football at will. And like I said, that's going to be a bad recipe for Oklahoma State and the weakness they got in the secondary and on their defense. Oklahoma State, to me, is going to have to point for point with Oklahoma, and can they do that is the question.
I tell you what, if you're taking Oklahoma to points, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to take Oklahoma State in the 6 points. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm saying give me the 6 points.
Well, you do that, my man. Be froggy and jump.
Sometimes we got to be a little different.
You do.
All right. So our next game, guys, is Kansas is going to Iowa State, and Iowa State is a 2.5-point favorite in this game at home.
You know what's funny? They are one of the 5 teams, and what's crazy about all this is they're one of the 5 teams that are 4-1 in conference, and they control their own destiny.
Iowa State.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
The only loss that they really got dominated was the Oklahoma game where Oklahoma beat them by 30 points. And I'm going to be honest with you. Jack Trice Stadium is a hard place to play in Ames. And to me, this feels like a classic letdown game for Kansas. They're off an emotional high, beating Oklahoma. Now they have to go to an Iowa State team that's a sneaky good little Cyclone team. Jason Bean did not play good last week against Oklahoma.
Oklahoma 38-33.
But they won in spite of him. They had, Iowa State's defense is really good. They're only giving up 19 points a game. They had the second best pass defense in the conference. To me, this is a letdown game for Kansas. I don't like Kansas in this game. I don't. I just think that coming off a high, like I said, the emotional high with beating Oklahoma, and then you have to go back on the road and you have to face a decent defense and a sneaky Iowa State team that is actually playing really good. Give me Iowa State. Give me Iowa State in the whatever the points is. Is it 2 or 3, something like that?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Actually, let me rephrase that. I think Iowa State upsets them. Let me just give you my upset pick off the bat. That's my upset pick of the week. Is Iowa State. I think they covered.
Iowa State is actually favored 2.5.
Oh, okay then. Well, that's my lock of the week then. The 2.5 Iowa State.
All right. Yeah. Iowa State's actually favored in this game, which I was kind of surprised about.
I'm not, because this is classic Kansas we're talking about. I mean, let's be real here.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'm going to take Kansas in this game. They're the ones that. Sorry, I hit the wrong thing there. They're the ones that coming off of a big victory, and they do slip up sometimes when they do that. So there's a part of me that says, like you did, take Iowa State, but I'm going to take Kansas. They should be able to beat Iowa State if they can beat Oklahoma. So that's the way I'm going to go with it. So in Kansas, and the next one we're going to talk about is Washington goes to USC, and Washington's a 3 favorite.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm shocked that this point spread is not higher. I'm really
They're
not.
only 3-point favorite.
And I'll tell you why, because USC's defense is absolutely atrocious. Like atrocious.
It is, but USC can put up an awful lot of points.
They can. But have you ever heard of let me think, Michael Penix Jr.? Michael Penix Jr. is one of the Heisman front runners to me. And I just don't think that USC will be able to stop him. And at the same time, I don't think Washington's going to be able to stop Caleb Williams either. But I think Washington gets enough stops to win this football game. And I think this is a statement game for Michael Penix Jr. in making Washington a threat for the college football playoff. I think they get it done with the whole world watching this weekend. They take care of business, and they cover the 3 points. Even though it's a difficult place to play, USC is a hard place to play, always has been, even going back to the days of Reggie Bush. But at the same time, I don't trust this.
So you think they take out the mighty Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley?
I do. I really do. I mean, look at it. USC I'm just saying. They're fading. They've been fading for 3 weeks. They're not.
Listen,
they're not playing.
I'm taking Washington too, man. I was just messing with you.
I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. I mean, USC's defense. I'll be frank with you. They probably couldn't stop a bunch of high school offenses. That's how bad it is.
Listen, it is a little scary. I do think that USC is capable of putting up 45 or 50 points, and if they do, 3 points could be an issue. I mean, it could be a 48-46 tie, 3 overtime, game or something.
I'm gonna give you a hot take. I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give you a hot take. If USC loses this game, I wouldn't be shocked if Caleb Williams shuts it down.
There's already been a few rumors of that anyway, but
I wouldn't be shocked. I just wouldn't. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I've heard a few rumors of that anyway already. Listen, I like Michael Penix Jr.
I do. I think he's the Heisman. I think he wins the Heisman.
Right now, I have him as my Heisman.
Well, he had his Heisman moment against Oregon. Well, double take. He can make another statement with USC this weekend.
Yeah.
And this one, this one's on the big stage too. So that's 2 games that he's going to have opportunities to make a statement. So, and yes, I'm dunking on the Trojans. I'm not a believer in the Trojans.
Well, I mean, they're just horrendous. Well, I mean, horrendous.
Because me and Brad, didn't we talk about this before the season started? I said USC, with the defense they had last year, they would not make a national championship until they get it back.
I think they're worse.
I think they're worse than it was last year. So
I think they're worse. I really do. Yeah.
I do too.
All right, so we've got LSU and Alabama.
Oh,
and
boy.
this is for the SEC West. This is we had the one Missouri and Georgia. Now this is for the lead and the upper hand in the SEC West. Alabama is favored 3 at home in Tuscaloosa.
Man,
big game here.
What about the styles?
High-powered offense or Alabama's defense?
That's the thing. There's two different styles here. You know, LSU wants to score as much as possible, and Alabama wants to hold you on defense.
Yeah.
The Crimson Tide only scored 40 or more twice this year, and once was against Middle Tennessee State. I just don't think Alabama is equipped for a shootout with the offense that they got. Now
they aren't. I think they're going to have to hold LSU to 30 and under to win this game.
They are. I think Alabama's defense is really good. LSU's defense is really bad. Something's got to break in this game, whether it's a pick.
If they don't hold LSU to like 25 or 30, I don't think Alabama can win this game.
I don't either. I'm going to even go as far as saying this might be the best game of the weekend. This might be the game of the weekend because the winner of this one gets a leg up in the West and pretty much seals it if they win out.
Well, if Alabama wins it, I think they pretty much seal it.
They seal the deal because they got the tiebreakers.
And they've already and they'll have 2 losses. The only one that would still have 1 loss is Mississippi, and they already beat Mississippi, so they have the tiebreaker over Mississippi.
So they have the tiebreakers. I'm going to go and say this. When it comes to big games like this on the big stage, this game's on CBS, if I'm right. It's a CBS game, right?
No, I think the Georgia-Missouri game is the CBS game, I believe.
I think there's a doubleheader, though. I think it's it is.
Well, it may be.
It might be. But, Alabama, when it comes to these type games, Saban always has them prepared. He always has them ready to go. They're juiced up. You look at the Tennessee game. They couldn't do nothing first half. And second half, Tennessee looked like they couldn't even play football. And when the backs are against the wall for Alabama, Nick Saban knows how to coach. And that's why I'm taking Saban and the Crimson Tide this weekend. Now, I like LSU. I think they got a good offense. I think they're going to score. I think they're going to make plays against this Alabama defense. That's not normally your Alabama defense. But Alabama
I was hoping
knows
you were going to take the flash and take LSU in this one, damn it.
I'm not, because when Alabama has their backs against the wall and a chance to make a statement, Saban knows how to do it. And that's why I'm taking Saban and Alabama.
Do a better job of controlling the show.
Yeah, I know, right? Go roll Tide.
No, man. So, gosh, this game is going to be a wild game to watch. I can't wait for this game. This has been, one through the season that you circle, and you just can't wait for it. So, if it comes down to coaches, I absolutely trust Nick Saban more than I do Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly will make some kind of ignorant. Brian Kelly and go for it or do something crazy or points when he don't have to, or I don't know. I don't even know how to, when you watch close games with Brian Kelly, he usually has some kind of ignorant ass call that you're like, what the crap is he doing?
Here's the thing that I see with this. LSU has the better quarterback in this game, but they don't have the better defense. Alabama's defense is going to get pressure, but LSU is going to move the football on them. But
I will say this, John. You were talking about Michael Penix and the Heisman moment. If Jaden Daniels can show out against Bama, I'm telling you right now. Did I say the wrong one? I said Jaden.
No, it's Jaden Daniels.
Jaden. Yeah. There's
Here's
the Kansas
here's
quarterback.
here's where I think LSU loses is on the defensive side of the ball. It is as tough and rough.
Yeah, LSU's defense. That's why I don't trust it, because LSU's defense is very, very suspect.
And is Jalen Milroe a good quarterback? I mean, he's not the best in the SEC, but he can make plays with his feet. And that's the main thing that, if you're an LSU fan, you got to worry about him running and taking off and making plays. And he's got a decent arm. And they're going to make some plays in the thing. And if you let Alabama get a lead with the defense that they got, I think it's going to be tough for LSU to win this game. I do too, Ken.
Joe Buckner says if John's picking Bama, I'm taking LSU. That's money in the bank.
Whatever, Bo. Oh,
Hey,
goodness.
I had to put that one up and laugh. All right. So I'm going to say I'm going to take Bama in this game and say hold tied, but there's a part of me that says that LSU can come in there and get this win. But I'm going to take Bama. I'm going to stick with what I've been doing this year, and I'm going to stick with Bama. I actually picked Bama to win the West, so I'm going to stick with it. All right. Second to last game here is Virginia Tech goes to Louisville. Louisville's in the top 15. Louisville's a 9.5-point favorite, and they're at home. Virginia Tech has been playing a lot better lately.
You know what's funny about this game?
They've won a few games, and they've been playing a lot better.
You know what's crazy and funny about this game altogether is the winner has a leg up in the ACC Conference Championship.
They do.
As tough as a season that Virginia Tech
has a shot. Yes, they have a shot of being in the championship game if they can.
As bad as the season that they had so far.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen because Louisville's defense should put an end to that. Virginia Tech's offense is very mediocre. If you watched them last week against Syracuse, they had a hard time. No, it wasn't Syracuse. It was the week before that. They played. Who was it they played? Was it Rutgers? I can't remember who it was, but they only had like 7 points the whole game. Another team had like 30 or something. But anyways, the Hokies defense is not as good as it has been in recent years. If Louisville can score 33 points against Notre Dame and 23 against Duke, they should put some numbers on Virginia Tech's defense.
I'm worried about neighbors. Kid Muss. Just want you to know a little bit here.
Yeah. I don't think this game will be close at all. I think Louisville wins this game. I think they cover the 9.5 points. And what's going to be crazy to me is Braum ends up going to the ACC championship. It will be in his first year, ladies and gentlemen. His first year.
Well, he's got the path already right now.
The schedule he's got, it's not. I think they play Florida State
right now.
He plays Florida State. I think that's at home, right?
No, they don't play Florida State.
Oh no, they don't play Florida State, do they?
No, they don't play Florida State.
Thought they did.
Nope, I promise you, they do not play Florida State this year. They didn't play Florida State. They didn't play Duke. They didn't play Clemson. They're not on their schedule. The hardest games on their schedule was in
They
North
play.
Carolina.
That's right. They play Miami. That was my bad. They play Virginia.
Miami.
Then they play Miami. Then they play Kentucky to end the year. Okay, that's right.
Yep.
So, yeah, they got it.
They don't play.
The only end all be all is the game at Miami. Could they trip up there and somebody else just slide in there? But if they beat Virginia Tech, it's going to be awful tough to keep them out of the ACC championship.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I've been with a few of the ACC friends that me and you have with the fanboys. I've been ragging them all year long that Louisville was going to get to the ACC championship game. I've been ragging them all year. So give me Louisville at home against this Virginia Tech team. I will say this. Virginia Tech has been playing really well as of late and won a couple of games that I never thought they would win, to be honest. But I'm going to take Louisville in this game. And I'm going to end this one this week on something that was very similar to last week. Last week, we ended with Oregon State at Arizona, and Oregon State was a 3-point favorite. This week, we're ending the show with UCLA at Arizona, and UCLA is a 3-point favorite. But last week, Arizona knocked off Oregon State 27-24.
Yeah, they're UCLA's won three of the last four. They've won 3 of the last 4. The only loss in that area was Oregon State, which is Oregon State's having a really good year this year. Arizona right now is playing really good football, but this will be the best defensive team. This will be the best defensive team they've seen all year in UCLA. You know, I think they're ranked up in the top 40 in pass defense. I think
it was pretty good all defensively.
They are. I think they rank top 10. I think they rank top 10 in a lot of categories. So this will all depend on, can Arizona take advantage of the times that they do get in the red zone, because they might not get a lot of chances. And if they do, they need to take advantage of it. And I think, but at the end of the day, I just think UCLA is the better team. You know, their quarterback's playing really good lately, Ethan Garbers. He's had 509 passing yards the last 2 games. And I think you add that.
Ken, we're not. But just to answer your question, give me the 15.5 points in Jacksonville State.
The Gamecock Bowl. Oh. That's a game that I really wouldn't want to push, because I wouldn't be shocked if Jacksonville State went in there and beat South Carolina, to be honest with you.
I'm taking the points.
As bad as South Carolina has played, I wouldn't put it past me to put you upset. Let's just be honest.
Give me the points is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Ken.
Yeah. But give me UCLA and the 3 points. I just think their defense will be too much this weekend.
Gosh, you outdid me on this game last week. I picked Oregon State. You picked Arizona. And I went 6-6. You went 7-5 and beat me at the end last week. Now you're taking UCLA. And because Arizona won last week, I'm wanting to take Arizona and watch it be the damn opposite. You're going to beat me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
See, I mean, this UCLA team does have a good defense.
They do.
They've been playing pretty good defense. I will say that. But Arizona has been really good lately. I mean, they beat Washington State. They beat Oregon State. You know, they've been really, really good lately, this Arizona team. And they have a really good quarterback, DeLora.
Yeah,
He is a fantastic quarterback, if you guys don't know. And this Arizona team is sneaky good.
They're really good, yeah.
I'm going to take I'm going to take Arizona in this one and flip it from last week, and you flip on your side, and we'll see who wins. But I'm going to take Arizona in this one, I think.
I was just going over my locks for the week, and I think I'm going to change my lock of the week in my upset pick.
Well, you can. We're going to get to it here. So let me get through the. I got to scroll up to get stuff here. Okay. Upset pick of the week.
I'm looking.
So
on
last
the
week, hang on just a minute. Last week we both lost. So it's 1-8 and 2-7. We're not doing very good. Now I did notice somebody who was a really good, like he's does all this and is really good as far as picking and stuff. And even on his upsets, he's like 12 of 26 or something for the year. So upsets is hard to do. But anyways, to throw that out there, where do you think your upset's going to go this time?
My upset pick of the week. I'm really debating. I know this sounds wild, but the Oregon State and Colorado game, it's in Colorado. I know as bad as Colorado has played, Oregon State at times has been very inconsistent. But I'm not going to do that. And there's not really a lot to really.
There's not. I'll tell you a few that I looked at. Marshall and App State is one. Coastal Carolina is not favored at Old Dominion, I don't believe.
How about Indiana over Wisconsin? Wisconsin's only a 9.5-point favorite, and Indiana at times have given them fits. That's a game that could be a sneaky watch. So I think I'm going to go the Indiana route over Wisconsin. I think.
Okay.
I'm going to see.
I'm going to try to pick Kansas over Iowa State.
Let's see where it lands me. And
for mine, Kansas
my lock
is
of the week.
Kansas is coming up of the Oklahoma win at Iowa State. Iowa State's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to try to pick Kansas as my upset pick of the week.
You're going to like my lock of the week. It's Michigan over Purdue. Purdue is terrible. If they have to steal signs to beat Purdue.
Well, supposedly they were stealing signs for Michigan State.
Oh, I'm just saying, if they have to steal signs to beat Purdue, then, hey, you're in worse shape than I am, to be honest with you. Purdue's just not a good football team right now.
All right, so lock, John. We've won this week. We both won our locks.
Did we win last week?
That was your first lock win. That was your first lock win of the year, by the way.
What was my lock last week?
I have it wrote down somewhere, but I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bo. Tennessee they'll dismantle UConn. That's a pretty much a lock.
It's 36 points though.
Yeah, it's a lot, but still, UConn's.
I mean, that's a lot.
UConn is better. UConn is better than they have been, but
36 points.
Here's the thing: UConn is better than they have been, but it's still in Neyland, and Tennessee plays good at home, and that was a lot of my reasoning for it. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you a couple underrated games real quick before we log off that we didn't talk about. That's going to be played this week.
Well, I
You got
haven't said my
BY.
lock yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, I was on a.
No, I'm still, I think I'm taking Texas as my lock. I feel like that is a low -4. I know this Kansas State team is good, but at home, I just feel like I think I'm taking Texas as my lock.
Yeah.
No, scratch that. I'm taking Notre Dame over Clemson and 3 points. That's who I'm going to take.
Right.
Notre Dame over Clemson, 3 points. That's my lock.
But here's a few games. I just wanted to kind of just not go in depth on them, but just some of the games that we didn't talk about. BYU travels to West Virginia. They're both 5-3. You got Miami going to NC State. That'll be a decent game. NC State's playing pretty good. Well, they won. They beat Clemson last week. Boise State and Fresno State, the late game, that could be a really good game. Fresno State 7-1.
Jerry Carter, you're not funny, by the way, just so you know.
You got Oregon State going to Colorado, and then you kind of got the same game, Kentucky and Mississippi State in Starkville, which has been a house of horrors for Kentucky the last decade, I guess. So
they haven't won in Starkville since 2008.
And by the way, that game started out as a 3-point favorite as Kentucky. It's moved all the way up to 5.
Yeah.
So
I noticed that earlier.
Money's coming in on Kentucky side this weekend. If that tells you anything, that Mississippi State, they're not a real good football team, but neither are we at times. So it'll be a battle of attrition. And the Gator, oh, that's right. Musk brought it up. Florida plays Arkansas.
And Florida play each other.
I forgot about that game. Yeah, but I think
there was a lot of games that I try to keep this to 12 on our list each week, but there was a lot of games. I think Florida beats Arkansas. There's just too much turmoil going on in Fayetteville right now. There's just a lot of issues going on in Arkansas right now. I think Florida takes care of business at home. It's in the swamp. It was only 4.5-point favorite. So
yeah, it's tough to win the swamp.
Yeah, it's in the swamp. So
yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our show. We even gave you a couple of bonus picks there, Ken. I seen where you said thanks for the bonus pick on the Gamecock Bowl that you were talking about there. So that's my take on it. I just don't trust this South Carolina team, and Jacksonville's a pretty good team. Jacksonville State is.
And we apologize for the audio tonight. I don't know. It seems like it has one week where it looks good, and the other week it just completely falls apart. But we'll figure it out.
We tried to have Taylor on to start, and that was not a good thing. So I guess we're just going to keep it to me and one other for a while. So
just until we get everything, the jams figured out.
Yeah. So
by the way, college basketball starts back Monday night. Are you excited?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So our next show is going to be Sunday at 3:00. We're going to do the weekend wrap-up show for week 10. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is our home field apparel. Check them out. Right now they're having a can't-miss tip-off, and they got some brand new items that dropped today. They have some new throwback championship teams. There's like 64 different items. There's brand new throwback bomber jackets that come out today. Kentucky is one of them that's really cool. Check them out. Use our code CSCast 15% off. Go to homefieldapparel.com.
You know what that sounded like? It sounded like you said CS Cats.
CS
Cats. It sounded like you said cats. Well,
Cast. Use our code. We're really, really proud to be able to offer people over what I think is about 175 or 80 teams of some really cool retro vintage logos, mascots, throwback teams, throwback designs. Like, it's a really cool thing. Check them out at homefieldapparel.com and use our code CSCast if you're a first-time buyer. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our show. We appreciate you being on with us. And check out some cool items this week.